Welcome back, everyone, to the FloTrack podcast. We are recording this after the Continental Tour meet in Hungary. I am Kevin. He is Gordon, recording a little later. So if you're watching live, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the meet. If you're watching like the next day or listening the next day, we're going to be talking about Sydney McLaughlin and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and all the other takeaways from this meet in Hungary. Gordon, how's it going? I listened to your Silesia Diamond League recap in preparation for this pod too, but I guess we're not going to talk about any of that stuff. So there's no real time for feedback.
Well, no, there's going to be. Can call back to a certain take I had that got a little controversial in the comments because I feel like my take so far is standing up. You know, my I'm 1-0 for this take because I had a Christian Coleman take that people kind of disagreed with, but Christian Coleman ran today,
Mm,
and that take kind of it's holding its own weight right now because he didn't run well today. So, but we'll get into that
he
when we talk
didn't.
about the men's 100. So.
That's facts. I mean, I looked at the episode and then I saw that it was 30 minutes and I thought, oh boy, what did he do for 30 minutes? What sort of controversy did he create? Which sort of legends did he anger? Did he upset an entire nation? But yeah, by your standard, it was pretty tame the whole way through.
People are upset about the Elaine Thompson hurrah take that you were on and you were part of that take. I
Well, I
mean,
disagreed with you.
you
It's a
disagree with me,
bad
but you're
take.
in the video, so
Yeah.
people probably associate you now
Yeah.
with that Elaine Thompson hurrah take. But people in Jamaica
Listen,
are upset about it. Like, I'm not saying that she's gonna lose to a non-Jamaican. Like, I'm thinking that a Jamaican's gonna beat her. So, like, this is not an
mhm.
anti Elaine Thompson hurrah take. It's a pro Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce take
Look, and I'm not here just to relitigate all your bad takes, but I
and a
will
pro
say
Sharika
this:
Jackson take.
even though I was in the video with you, I think people are able to differentiate between us just based on our experience in Eugene. Because when people would say hi or offer encouragement or critiques, they were very clear about Gordon. You were wrong about that. Like, they didn't say you guys. They were good about leaving me out of it. So I think the viewers don't rope me in with you, which is good for me. Um, in pretty much every single case that I'm trying to think of a case where it would be good that I get roped in with you, just not even in work, but just in life, and I can't come up with one.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But anyway,
Anyway, let's do it.
it was weird having the
Hungry.
track meet on a Monday. Monday, like
Mm-hmm.
late morning, early afternoon. What
Prime
was
time,
your
baby.
this is like the peak type of track meet. It happens randomly on a Monday. We don't know the start list till like 48 hours to 24 hours beforehand. And it
Oh
has
yeah.
some of the best people in the world, notably
Oh
Sydney
yeah.
McLaughlin, who we thought was going to be running in Monaco. She is so mysterious that like she's running Monaco. We're talking about a flat 400, and then all of a sudden she's pulling out of Monaco and now running the 400 hurdles in Hungary. What's going on? What are your thoughts on Sydney deciding to run one race after
Mm-hmm.
Worlds and it be this one on a Monday afternoon in Hungary?
Well, what was a great movie? Said I'm gonna stick to one song and one song only. That's Sydney post World Championships. She's just doing one. Was she gonna run the flat four in Monaco, or was she gonna run the 400 hurdles at Monaco? I
I
never
don't know.
heard a specific race there. So I think people were wanting her to run a flat four, but that was always projection. It doesn't matter if she's going to run one, whether or not it's in Monaco or it's in Hungary or it's anywhere, it's going to be her versus the clock. Now,
Yeah.
if Femke Bol shows up, there'll be someone slightly closer to her. If Dalilah Muhammad shows up, there'll be someone slightly closer to her. But if we learned one thing from Eugene, it's just that there's nobody close to Sydney McLaughlin. So to me, it doesn't matter where she ran. I obviously would prefer to see her in the open four because, as we talked about, she has zero to prove. Um, this race, it looked effortless. Like Tim Hutchings doing the call was just like kind of downplaying expectations the whole way, and then was oh wow, 51:68. Like only Dalilah Muhammad has run faster than that, right? It's still an all time performance, but that's the thing. Sydney can run a second off of her best time, like she did here, and it's still an all time performance. So to me, it doesn't matter where she run. I would love to see her run more because she's a phenomenal athlete, so much fun to watch. I'd love to see her run other events, but this versus Monaco versus Zurich versus Brussels. It doesn't matter because the picture that you're seeing on the screen right now, the last 100 meters of this race, that's what you'd see anywhere. Doesn't matter what sort of field you assemble. It's her versus the clock, everybody else racing for second.
Yeah. 51:68. I turned it, I tried to turn it into an interesting stat. It's the sixth time she's broken 52 seconds in her young career. That's crazy. If someone would tell you, like, what was sub 52 5 years ago? That was
World
like
record.
yeah, it's
Past the
world
world record.
record. It's like
Yeah.
just an unthinkable area of time. And now she's done it 6 times. It's just
Yeah.
incredible. And
Yeah.
it's not like a bunch of 51 nines. There's some low 51s, mid 51s, a high 50. It's all
There's a
it's
50.
all over
Yeah.
the place.
There's literally yeah. Well, that was her fifth best time ever. So that's ahead of a lot of remarkable performances in her career. So she's got obviously world record at world champs, world record at USA's, Tokyo last year. Then she's got Nashville this year, where the hurdles were probably marked to a wrong spot. And then she has this performance, which is ahead of her 5190 at the Olympic trials last year, which was a world record. So this would have been a world record up until the Olympics last year. So don't be like she's so nonchalant about it, and she jumps in this race that's a little bit lower key than you could say a Monaco Diamond League, even though the fields were pretty good all across the board. But don't let that fool you. You're still seeing all time performances from her, and when you look and you see a 51 on the clock now, we're conditioned to think, oh, okay, eh, that's way off the world record. But that's just because she's the only person who's gone 50. She's the only person who's gone 50 by a large margin. So seeing a sub 52 is still a rare thing in women's 4-meter hurdles. Femke Bol has not broken 52. So again, it's her and Dalila Muhammad. That's it. And then you go back to 2019 when this world record race kind of started with her and Muhammad, and Dalila Muhammad ran 52:20 in that race. 52:20. That was a world record. 2019.
Insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. We'll see what she does next. I mean, do we know? I mean, she just mentioned she's only doing one race.
Yeah,
So
that's it. That's it.
what's she gonna
That's
do
it.
now? That's so much time. August, September, October, November, December. She's probably not going anything
Mm.
in January. Maybe a race in February, but like we're getting at least a good 6 months of no Sydney running in a circle. What are we gonna do with ourselves? There's just like, do we get also 6 months off? Should we just take a 6 month hiatus on the podcast until Sydney comes
we
back? Should we
have
go on strike?
we have 6 months to make sure that the schedule for Budapest and the schedule for Paris are such that she can run the flat 400 and the 400 hurdles. That's what we do. We spend 6 months of our life trying to figure that out.
We gotta get a committee together. Who should be on the committee to like? Who should be on the presentation committee to put together the PowerPoint deck to the World Athletics to get them to, you know, change the schedule?
Yeah.
Like, who are you inviting to this meeting? Obviously, it's you and me, right? Colt's
Mm,
coming because Colt's gonna make
definitely
sure.
me, because I
I
want to
mean,
succeed
definitely,
in this meeting.
it's both of us. We're both gonna go to this meeting. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know if we have enough seats, but you would definitely be the first guy off the bench if someone cancels. Who has had schedule issue? Allison Felix wanted us to change the schedule in the past, and they wouldn't change it for her. I feel like we invite
Yeah.
Allison
So,
Felix.
well,
What do you
no,
say?
that you don't want to bring her then because that's bad karma. Because they didn't change it for her, while they changed it for Sydney.
Oh,
You want to
yeah.
bring people who
Michael
can.
Johnson. They changed it for
Michael
Michael
Johnson.
Johnson. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. We
he'd be
bring him.
one.
I was thinking we bring in Magic Johnson because he's
Okay,
a great ambassador for all sports, and he's going to
and he
be
likes track.
very simple with his presentation. He's just going to say, "Sydney is fast.
Sydney's great.
Let's watch Sydney. Sydney's great."
Twice,
And that's going to be like, you
twice,
know what? You
twice.
have a point.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, that's all we need.
Do we need
We
any
don't need
like
any.
government officials?
So someone to bring in like a big chart, like they got the easel boards, like you see on the
Yeah.
floor of Congress, where it's like
Yeah.
one of them is just a board that has the number 1 on it. That's how many individual events she ran last year, and then you unveil a second board, and it just has the number 2. This
I
is how
like
many
that.
individual events we want to see her run this time. 2.
So we might get this live streamed on C-SPAN. That's like we get the whole Congress involved. They got time, right? They're not doing anything. All right.
Yeah.
And then I mean, real talk though. Do you think if you had to
Real
put
talk.
your firstborn on the line,
Mm.
maybe that's too much of a bet. If you just had to put your
Yeah.
like your next mortgage payment on the line,
Yeah.
will she or won't she attempt the double? Based on
Next
all the
year or at the Olympics?
situations, either or, 23 or 24.
Okay. So in this scenario, am I assuming the schedules are going to allow for it in some sort of reasonable way?
You're assuming, I mean, it has to allow for it for her to do it. So that's part of the situation. You have to predict that they're going to change the schedule.
So the question is, will she double in both of them or just one of them?
Either.
I want it to happen so badly that I almost think it won't. I guess I would bet against it, and then I'll be pleasantly surprised. I think
Okay.
I think what we could see is the Open 4 in 2023, and then both of them in 2024, because it's the Olympics, much bigger stage. Like, why she's achieved so much, right? She's already a household name for track fans, but the way you become a household name for people outside of track is do something unprecedented. So save
Yeah.
that for the Olympics. Save that
You
for
do it like a Michael
2024.
Phelps stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Be on TV a lot during those 2 weeks in Paris. And then so doing it during just a world championship, maybe she wants to just get through the 400, do that, check that box, make sure she's got it cuz she's has to be ridiculously confident that the 400 hurdles will be there for her. She's not worried
Yeah.
about that, I would think.
Yeah. I'm just imagining Magic Johnson giving this speech.
Listen,
I think he'd be really good at
I
it.
think we need to I mean, I guess we should have asked Seb Coe at that press conference.
We should have.
Like, will you change the actually, we shouldn't even have even said, "Will you change the schedule?" We should say, "What time is the meeting, and do you have space in your office for our easel boards?" That's what we should have said. Have you got my PowerPoint deck?
Yeah.
Have you have you received my email? There were some people who legitimately asked Seb Coe in a press conference whether or not he received specific emails about specific events happening in track and field. So we would not have been that far off with the rest of that press conference asking if he had received an email about Sydney's double.
We'll make sure to shoot our shot the next time we run into him. That's for sure.
Yeah. Like, and again, I don't want to I don't want to turn into you with the 4 majors with me talking about the universal schedule, but there should just be a universal schedule. So we don't even need to have this mystery about what's going to happen. Like everybody knows, oh man, the 404 hurdle double, that means she'll need to run this many races on this many days. And day 7 is going to be crazy for her. Like you just know. And then there's no
Yo,
subjectivity of why did you change the meet for this person and not for that person?
they're giving right now. They're doing an award
Mm,
ceremony,
yeah.
and they're giving Sydney McLaughlin a cake on stage with her
Oh, it was
face
her
on it.
birthday. It was just her birthday. That's why.
Her birthday.
When was her birthday, Colt? Yeah, scroll down, Colt. Her birthday, August 7th. So yesterday.
Okay, but it's a picture of her in her Kentucky uniform on a cake, and they're just giving it to her. I think she won athlete of the meet anyway. So
Oh,
when you,
speaking of athlete of the meet, you raised when are we gonna start talking about athlete of the year? I guess we can wait a month on that. We'll have plenty of time to discuss.
yeah, we got time. We got time for that. All right, what else do you want to talk
Another
about from this meet?
candidate. Well, I want to talk about Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce because she was a candidate for athlete of the meet and would be a good candidate for athlete of the year. She does another 10.6, Gordon. 10.67 in this race, coming off a remarkable run in the Diamond League where she ran another 10.6 on Saturday. She's run faster times before last year, right? She ran the 10.6, she ran the 10.63. But this season overall, I think is better. First of all, she got the gold in the 100. She didn't last year. And now she's gone under 10.7 seconds 5 times in 2022. 5 times She's
It's a
run
lot.
either 10.66 or 10.67, and she's not done. So maybe we'll see a 10.63 or maybe we'll see a 10.60. But I think you could say this is her best season ever in the 100. And you could say it with a lot of confidence because of the gold medal and just the consistency of the times. And if you just started paying attention to track right now and you look at Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and you say, all right, she's 35 years old. She's just clicking off 10.6s. You say, man, early on in her career, she must have run a ton of 10.6s. Well, that's not the case. Remember, her PB heading into 2021 was 10.70. All of these marks have come in 21 and 22. And I think it's easy to forget that. But, since 2021, 10.6, 10.63, 10.66, 10.67, 10.67, 10.67, 10.67. Like, the consistency has been remarkable. She's not done with this year either, but it feels like she could go until November running 10.6s. And it feels like she can go until 38, 39 years old, still winning gold medals.
What year did she have her baby?
That was 17. Let me look. Colt, you got the let's see, what was she off? Yeah, she didn't compete at all in 17.
17.
Mhm.
So it's very far removed from that too. Like it is very I mean, there's just certain athletes out there. I mean, I kind of compared her to Tom Brady. There are certain athletes out there that find a way to just do the unusual, which is typically you decline over time. And then there are some athletes who kind of do the inverse, that over time
Mhm.
they get oddly better. You look at that in a lot of some certain like women's marathoners, right? You see
Mhm.
someone like Kira D'Amato, who was a no name and now is running, all time marks for US women in the longer distances. And like,
Mhm.
this doesn't make sense. You're supposed to be great at age 25, and that's your prime, your athletic prime. But there are
Yeah.
certain athletes, specifically in track and field, who are able to shift their prime to the twilight of their career, which is unusual. And Shelly-Ann is like living proof of that, where she is the best she's ever been, despite being in the sport for 10 plus years.
Yeah, a couple things. One, um, her 2021 was really good too. It just was overshadowed by Elaine Thompson-Herah's
Yeah.
being an all-timer. And because Elaine Thompson-Herah was so good, she didn't get gold in Tokyo. And because Elaine Thompson-Herah was so good, you look at that 10.6 that she run, like, well, 10.5 is faster, which it is. But remember, she beat Thompson-Herah in Lausanne last year. Like, so she was just right there with her. It just was a matter of Thompson-Herah putting together an all-time performance. And I mean, credit to Fraser-Pryce for still going and not getting discouraged after that year, because I think a lot of people would. Second thing I'll say, her success has just made me rethink this whole age thing. Because then you look at Thompson-Herah, who's 30, and part of the reason why I push back on your bad take about her never getting another gold is just because you look at Fraser-Pryce. Now, Fraser-Pryce might be, is an exceptional athlete. She's an exceptional case. But then even look at someone like Shericka Jackson, who rolled through another 200 today, 28 years old. Years past, people would probably, okay, that's, you know, this is going to be the peak. But I remember watching Doha 2019, and there was kind of a feeling of, oh man, I can't believe Fraser-Pryce did it again. And now we're 3 years past that, and she still does it. And it's not as if she's just popping up out of nowhere and performing in a championship, and that's it. The consistency of performances, too, is what really makes you think, okay, this isn't competition dependent. It's not just like there was a weak spot in the 100 that one year and she took advantage. It's like she's doing it over and over and over again just to show you, no, this is the fastest she's ever been, and she's doing it at this stage of her career.
Yeah. It's unreal. I mean, I was reacting like this literally 48 hours ago after her 10-6 in Poland. No, she's just like, oh, I'm going to do it again. I still think
Yeah.
I predicted that she's going to give us one more. I think both Shericka Jackson and Shelly-Ann are both going to give us one more big moment. I think we still have yet to see the
This year?
one last big moment from Shelly-Ann.
This year you're talking about? Or
this year.
ever?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
this
yeah.
year.
Yeah. Maybe, maybe not, but she doesn't have to do anything, and I think it's still the best season of her career,
Yeah,
just
but I
with the
still think we're gonna
consistency.
get one more whoa moment. We just haven't
Yeah.
gotten it yet.
You're big on
We're gonna get one
Monaco.
more.
The problem with Monaco is the way that stadium is constructed, and you've been there, doesn't really allow for a tailwind, and it almost feels
Yes.
like everybody's just cheering for a tailwind for these two runners. It's just like, where can we get that 2.0? Like, where's that sweet, sweet 2.0 to push them to a fast time? Monaco obviously is quick, usually for distances, though. I mean, there's been some fast sprint times over the years, too, just because of how many quality athletes are there. But the lack of the following wind, I think, takes a little bit out of it. But, you know, again, she doesn't need to do anything else. And just winning these races by such huge margins and being able just to clock in at 10.6 every single time she steps on the track now is just, again, you didn't think it was going to be possible a couple of years ago. But yeah,
Here we are.
we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, and it makes you not want to take anything off the table because that's my feeling about Monaco and the Monaco track. But all Fraser-Pryce seems to be able to do this year is just run 10.6. Like that's all she does, just time after time after time. And maybe she'll outdo it again. I don't know. It's something to behold, the level of consistency. Um, you want to jump to the men's 100?
Yeah, let's do it. I will say, while you were doing your end of your Shelly-Ann speech, I was in real
Good
time
speech.
uploading um, last two of the races onto YouTube. So if you guys haven't seen the
That's
final
great.
200 meters, you can watch them dual screen with us on YouTube. Anyway,
That's great. Thank you for bringing that up and
I
telling
just want to
people.
let you know I'm
Yeah.
a dual threat, podcaster. I can upload and I can
You should have been
pretend to
listening
listen
to
to
what I
you at
was
the same
saying.
time.
No, you should have been. I was saying some really important things. Men's 100,
Thank you.
Bracy got the win. Bromell second. Kind of makes sense. These two have been so close all year, so it makes sense. Bromell wins in the Diamond League over the weekend. Bracy comes back and gets the win here. Um, Eli Hall gets third. We talked about Coleman being a non-factor in this race again, but yeah, a good win for Bracy. I had some questions about what was going to happen with this event post World Championships because I didn't know who was going to run and if we'd see a lot of the big names matching up. But credit to them. You got the silver and bronze medalist in the same race against a deep field. It was kind of a fun race.
I notably thought there's something interesting from Bromell. Bromell still gets top three here, but this is now the second or third time I've seen him have a weird like trip or stutter late in his race, like losing balance, and like kind of like something's happening. He's like
Semis,
tripping up on himself.
semis at Worlds, right? Am I remembering that
Yeah,
correctly? Yeah.
yeah, and he does it again here, and I'm just like, what's going on? It's like losing control, maybe. I don't know, but I feel like it might be something. Maybe he's not able to. Yeah, see,
Oh
he
yeah, he's
just
moving to the right.
yeah, he
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. He
waves his arms
wobbled a
out.
little
It
bit to the outside lanes. Yeah.
looks like Edward
Oh,
Cheserek
you're
at the
going
end of a
pretty
10K.
You're going pretty fast there, but I mean, credit to Bracy. Good start here. Coleman, to me, it feels like his start is solid. His start is fine. It's just the second part of his race is just not there in the way it was when he won his world title. And I think he just needs a reset at this point. I mean, he's still out there giving it a go. So he must feel physically fine, but that second part of the race is just not going his favor. Um, Going back to world championships, these last couple meets too. I mean, this he used to have a lead, midway, and then would either build or just hold on. I think Bracy's a really good starter, and Bromel's a really good starter, but even 20, 30 meters out, he's still in a good spot. It's just that second half is not there for him.
We need to talk a little bit about Christian Coleman. So, whenever we talk about the current great 100-meter runners, we always would include Coleman in that conversation. Now that he's got 6 at Worlds and he has now had 2 back-to-back subpar performances, what are your thoughts on that idea that maybe we need to stop giving Christian Coleman the 2019 benefit of the doubt and realize that was 3 years ago, and
Mhm.
that like right now you're not really in the same conversation as the Bromell, Bracy, Curley, Omanyala, Seville type conversation.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let's back up for a second. You made a really interesting first tier and you added some guys in there who I would not have put in there, which is fine. But Omanyala and Seville, yeah, I mean, I think you can run with those guys. Let me ask you this question. Um,
Omanyala beat Fred Curley. Remember that.
yeah, he did, and that's great. But it's not as if there were circumstances outside of his control. Again, I wouldn't put him in the top tier, but that's not the point of this discussion. After World Indoors, like, do you think he is the same, better, or worse than after indoor season?
I think he's
Coleman.
worse.
Okay. So if you think that he was fine there and he's gotten worse, then I would say he can return back to that form. I mean, look at what Bromell did last year at the Olympics. I mean, post Olympics, he had that one fast time in Nairobi, but he didn't get back to his pre Olympic trials and trials like dominant Bromell performance. So,
It's just like I'm looking
he
at these results. There's only 2 times he's broken 10.
yeah, well, and because we were giving him the benefit of the doubt. I remember that race in Tokyo early on in the year when he ran the 10:09, right? And we're like, all right, that was fine, but when are we going to see more? And then you just keep waiting, waiting, and then that one in New York, he beat Akeem Blake, but it was real close. But I just think he said it all year long, and I don't think we waited enough. Like being off for that amount of time clearly impacted him. Now, if he was fine though in indoors and then regress back to outdoors, I don't know. I don't know the explanation of it, but that's something we're all kind of defer to people who have been in that spot and had to race at that high level. Um,
I
this
don't
year, is
I
he in the
think
first tier? What?
I don't think anything's changed. I think it's easier to be good in the 60 than it is to be good in 100. Like those extra 40 meters are a lot. And
Yeah, but you just said he
that
got worse. You,
yeah,
that's what you
because
said. Yeah.
well, I think he's worse because he's now I think he would look this now I think if he was running a 60-meter dash, he would be running the same times he ran indoors. I think he'd run
Okay.
six
So
fours
that's
in a 6 meter
okay.
dash.
So that's why I asked. So you're not saying he got worse. You're saying he's just basically been the same all year
He's got worse
indoors.
because you are what you are the sport
The
you
event
have to
changed.
play, and the sport he
Well,
plays
I
is the
know.
100-meter dash now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But
technically
that was
worse.
the point I was getting at. That was the point I was getting at. Like,
Okay.
do you think a 6.41 is equivalent to whatever he's running now? And you can look at the points tables, but like my point being, is he the same guy or has something happened this spring, or is it just the event is longer now and it's not his forte? Like right now, would I put him in the top tier of got like if we reran the world championships? Of course not. Like look at the results. Like you're not going
Yeah.
to, but I'm not counting him out for next year. His lifetime best is the same as Fred Curley's, which is the same as Trayvon Bromel's, right? He's run faster than Marvin Bracey. He's run faster than all these other guys that you've brought up. I'm willing, just based on what we saw last year, especially on the U.S. men's sprint side, a lot of them not having a good stretch there around the Olympics. I'm willing to chalk it up to him getting reacclimated to running the event and having a bad couple months. And he's still super young. And the thing is, what was the winning time here? 9.9. What was it today?
995.
990. Yeah. They're not out there running 9.6s, you know? So if you're saying Ken Christian Coleman, if 995 or
997.
997,
Yeah.
yeah. If that's what it takes to get in the first tier, he can get back there. So I guess I disagree with you in the long term, but in the short term, you got to look at the results. And yeah, he's not in that first tier.
I mean, he might not even make the world team next year, bro. I know we still get 4 guys because Curley gets the bye.
Yeah, but
But like Williams is
we don't
good. He's gonna get better. I don't know, man. I don't think Bromell and Bracey are gonna lose a step yet. Curley obviously is there already.
like my question is, will you be surprised next year if he's able just to run sub 990, which might be what it takes to make the team?
Yeah, I would not be
And
surprised if he's good next
right.
year.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think he needs a hard reset. I think that's what
Yeah.
he needs. It's very clear. Like he wanted to try uh to make the team. Look, he had the bye. He wanted to try to compete, but you go back and you look at those results. I think we put to bring this full circle. I think we put a lot of weight on indoors because it was Coleman and he's great at the 60 and he ran 6.4 low. But remember, he had run 6.3s before and he lost to Jacobs. And we're like, oh, okay, but he's still in that range of he's going to be the Christian Coleman of old. But then everything, like pull up those outdoor results again. Like which one of those in retrospect are you feeling good about? Like all those outdoor results from 2022. Let's go through it. A 10:09. I'm just reading finals. 10:04. New York, he wins 992. That was a close race. USA's, he didn't run the final, but he was the 987, got third in the semi. And then he goes to Worlds and goes 10:08, 10:05, 10:01. And then now he has a 10:13 and a 10:17. So it's like very clearly not the Coleman of years past, right? But
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is you just start to chase it at a certain point. You're trying to chase the old self and you're taking these big swings trying to get the gold medal. I don't think he's out of it by any stretch because we've seen all these guys have up and downs, with the exception of Curly, who just sort of bounces around from event to event. But like, how many times has Bromel's career been over?
That's true.
I mean, who last
That's
year
true.
after Tokyo?
Same with
We
Bracy.
didn't,
Bracy's career was over
yes,
too.
but like Bromell, even after he makes this big comeback, right? And he's the top guy in the world, and we're thinking he's Olympic favorite, and he doesn't make the final. I think a lot of people bailed on Bromell at that point
Yeah.
last year and said that was his chance. If he can't do it then, he's not going to do it. And then comes back, gets the bronze, which, hey, isn't gold, but he was within a whisker of a gold medal. And now he's
Yeah.
back to winning Diamond League races. So that was just, we got to learn from the past results of a lot of these top guys. Like they can have a bad patch and come back. And we're not in the Usain Bolt era as much as you think we are with guys running 958. We are not in it. We're in a awesome, perfect conditions. Somebody can run a mid 9.7, but even that's not guaranteed era. So 9.8s are still going to get you wins and they're still going to get you medals, and he can get back to 9.8.
Fair enough. Anything else notable happened at this meet that you want to
I
talk
don't know. Do we have
about?
the result? Do we have the? I don't have the results page up. I just I gotta pull that up and see.
You're just not doing a good job at it today, man. What's going on?
No,
You
I'm
don't have the
just
results
well.
page?
Got three kids at home because one is sick and two of them are in that week before school starts. So I'm juggling. Results. Here we go. Can I pull this up? Do you have the results here? Nope. Wait, you didn't put a results thing on the coverage page. You're usually so good at that. You're usually Mr. Reliable.
Yeah, you take advantage of me and my reliability. You just assume
Yeah.
it just magically
We,
appears. You're like a kid who just assumes food is put on the table from it just
yeah,
grows
yeah.
out of the wood of the table.
What? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, we had another 145 men's 800, which I thought was a showstopper. Oh, let's talk about the 200s.
Yeah.
Shrika Jackson. Both in Eugene, obviously, because she ran 21.4, but in Salisa and then today in Hungary, she just has no weaknesses as a 200-meter runner. Because you in these races, you get to see the whole spectrum of 200-meter runner, and some of them are strong off the bend, and then some of them are good closers. So there's all this action kind of going on behind Sharika Jackson, right? The positions are moving as different athletes assert themselves at different points in the race that are advantageous to them. And she's just better at it than everybody. She has no weaknesses as a 200-meter runner. Makes sense that she's good in the 1 and good in the 4. It's a lot to do to translate that into like a really aggressive good bend, but she is just so solid across the board. And until somebody can kind of match that level of consistency and have all the parts that she has that are required to win this 200-meter race, we're just going to see her just roll continuously, I think, in the 200.
Yeah, I agree. Um, that's why I'm excited when, you know, she's forced to go up against, a less raced Abby Steiner, a healthy Gabby Thomas, a healthy, um, oh my god, I can't remember Mboma. Like
Mhm.
you could argue maybe a fully it back to her prime Elaine Thompson hurrah. So, but right now, none of that exists. So it's just going to be her all day
Yeah,
until the end of the
but
year.
even then, man, it's gonna be tough. Even then, I know you've been saying that you think she's got a rival, but I don't know when you're that consistent and you're just that smooth and just have no weaknesses. It's just hard to envision someone beating her at this current form again. But that's this year. That's 2022.
Yeah,
That's
it's
where
this
she's
year.
at right now, and that could be different. Men's 200. We thought we were going to get Knighton Bednarik matchup. Unfortunately, Kenny Bednarik pulled up coming off the curve, which you really hate to see um, at this point in the season. Coming off that silver medal. So hopefully he's going to be okay, and it was just precautionary. Haven't read anything or heard anything yet as of this recording. We'll obviously talk about that if we get more news. Knighton wins the race though with I'd say relative ease. I don't know what did you think of Ari Knighton's performance?
Yeah, I mean, once Kenny B pulled up, which you can see now on your screen, pulls up with like 100 to go. I mean, Knighton ran well here last year, I believe. Was it last year or in 2020? He ran well
Yeah,
at this
last year.
stadium. So 19.8 makes sense. I'm really excited for him in the Monaco race. I was really excited because that Monaco race was going to become a settling of a debate that we had with Michael Norman versus Kenny B. You had Lyles was going to be in there, Knighton, Kenny B, Michael Norman. It was basically a dream
Mhm.
200,
Yeah.
but we might not get the full dream because if Kenny B is pulling out Pierre, I highly doubt he's going to be in full fledged to be able to compete in that Monaco race, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just precaution. He's gonna be all right. But yeah, Knighton's running well. I mean, he's still, we can't forget, guy's still a kid, still running well. He's running 19.8s now, jogging. His future is gonna be really good, and he's gonna be the guy we look to push Noah Lyles to go even faster, to just push the event
I don't think that's what he
to.
wants to do. I don't think that's what he wants to do. I don't think he
Well, he
wants to
wants
be
to
the guy
push
to
him out of the
push Noah
way.
Lyles.
He wants to
He
push him
wants to
out of the
beat
way.
Noah Lyles. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you push
yeah.
them, and then you push them to the side, and then you keep
No
going, and
one
you run
uses
past them.
pushing in that sense. Everybody uses the term pushing to mean you're not a threat. He's a threat.
Okay, he's gonna pull him out of the way. Is that better? He's gonna pull him.
Yeah.
You know what I meant.
All right. I do. Yeah, I do. High hurdles for the men. Grant Holloway gets caught by Broadbell of Jamaica. Holloway had a huge lead, which is not uncommon when you're watching a Grant Holloway race. But then the wheels came off over the last two hurdles. Both Broadbell and Daniel Roberts closed on him. And, from first glance, you're like, I don't think Grant won that race. In fact, he might have gotten third. He ends up getting second in this one. But yeah, this was strange. It was going his way, and then all of a sudden it just turned the other direction.
Yeah, this has been a trend with Holloway now. As great as he's been, and as great as he will continue to be, his final two hurdles is like the glaring weak spot of his greatness. And he's so good that he can build such a big lead that this weakness isn't always going to affect the result of the race.
Yeah.
In situations like this, when he's resorting down to 13 ones, and there's other people who have capability of going to 13-1, like you can get beat. And he got beat by Broadbell and almost got beat by Roberts. So I guess that's why they run the race. I still think Grant is fine. I don't think this is going to be the end of the beginning of the end for him. I still think he's ascending. He's going to break the world record eventually. But yeah, he's got to work on those final two hurdles.
Heck of a couple days for Broadbell. Wins Commonwealth and then comes here and gets a win
Beats Grant
over
Holloway.
Holloway. Yeah, the rhythm was off on those final two. You could tell, and you're right. It doesn't matter if he's out running 12.9 pace or 12.8 high pace, it doesn't matter. You could float those ones and then you're still going to win. But when you're already not going as quick as we've seen you go before, you open yourself up um, to get beat. And that's what happened. Do you think do we have a fast Grant Holloway race left in the season? You're saying we're going to see it in the women's
Yes,
sprints.
I think we will. I think we still get one more. I think we can get one record attempt. I
Record?
mean, I hope. I think we're gonna. He's. I don't know if it's a record attempt. There's gonna be a moment. He's gonna run at least a sub 12.9. He's gonna run 12.8 something.
That'd be big.
Yeah, that would be big.
Women's, well, it would be. Look at his year, right?
Yeah.
Look at this. Is this Holloway's year? Yeah, we got Holloway's year up here. 13.3, 13.06. That was one where he lost to Devin Allen. Scratched the finals at USA's, but ran 13.11 and 13.03. Good times, obviously. Then 13.01 in the semis and 13.03 at Worlds, and then today 13.12. He hasn't raced a ton, really. Did 2 races before USA's, and then didn't race between USA's and Worlds, and then run 1 race post Worlds. So it hasn't competed a bunch outdoors. Indoors, obviously, he was great. I almost think it's not he won the world title, but it's interesting. Both him and Coleman are so good indoors, right? That we read so much into their indoor performances, and they're running 60-meter races, and then the race gets longer. And a lot of times we're just like, all right, they're going to continue to do the exact same thing going outdoors. Holloway obviously was a lot more successful this year doing it than Coleman was, but see a couple parallels there at least.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Camacho Quinn cruised. That was a fast time. She ran 12.2s, 12.26, I believe, for Camacho Quinn. 2.7. Did that get rounded down? Are you sure that didn't get rounded down? All right. I think you're right. It might have been listed.
Do you want to double check
It
my
might
work?
have been. It might have been listed at 2.8, and then they moved it down. I remember they did move it down.
Or maybe you're just wrong.
No, it did. Watch the tape. Do your research. Hold on. Let this play out. Hold on.
Now.
I literally watched this race. Yeah. I watched this. I remember this. 2.8.
It says 12.28.
That's a 2.8? Yeah. How's that taste? How does that feel?
That's not what she ran. She ran 12.27.
I said it got rounded down. I said it was
no,
either
it says 12.27. It got rounded down literally 4 seconds later. Did you turn off your TV right after the race was over and oh no, I'm not going to double check my work?
I'm just saying I remember it being rounded down, and I was right because it was. So that's all I'm saying. 2.7 for Quinn. What Amu-san just ran 12.30 at Commonwealth. Yeah, if the 12.12 and the 12.08 didn't happen, this performance would have been like, oh man, she's Camacho Quinn's getting close again. And Amu-san's 12.30 is one of them going to be able to get the record this year. It's like, well, we've already done that.
Yep.
12.12, you got to drop a lot of time, man.
Speaking of Commonwealth, a couple updates from Commonwealth. We're a big Commonwealth podcast. We love
huge
Commonwealth Games.
Huge.
Don't even know the countries in the Commonwealth. Mm-hmm. I'm learning them every day as I see, oh, that country's there. Oh, okay, cool. Yep. But Oliver Hoare, a little bit of a redemption, wins the 1500 in a quick time. It was 3:30. There's a bunch of guys in there too. It wasn't there was 4 or 5 still in it, all running quick times. The world champion gets third. Jake Whiteman gets third in the race. Yeah. Oliver Hoare wins it. I mean, that's what we thought Oliver Hoare was. I mean, that's why his getting eliminated after the semis was so out of character for his talent. And clearly, he was a lot better than that. And he showed it a few weeks later by beating most of the top guys, because it's not the Commonwealth 1500 is basically a very good representation of what a world championship 1500 would be, in my opinion.
Well,
you don't have Jakob and you don't have the Americans, but Americans mean nothing right now because they're not running. There's no sensuous right now, and Jakob is one guy.
Kerr was in the final. Whiteman was in the final. Cherry in the mix. Yeah, it was good, but there was no guarantee it was going to be good. And I think you're right. It does give Hoare a measure of redemption. I mean, obviously he would trade this performance for, a medal performance in the world championships, but the fact that it was fast too, and it was a pretty similar race,
Yeah.
to the now Jakob not being there obviously changes a lot because that's the guy who really took that pace on. But Whiteman got caught by Chariot, and for a while you're like, oh, Chariot's gonna do this. And then Hoare outkicked the guy who was doing the outkicking. He moved all the way out to lane 3, and it was really exciting last 100. It was a lot of fun, that race, just from beginning to end. But the 3:30 time combined with the gold, yeah, it's it's not gonna make him forget about world championships because you don't forget about performances like that. But I'm sure that Oliver Hoare is very appreciative that the Commonwealth Games took place this year, so he could put on the Australia jersey again and race against other guys going for gold and come out with a performance that he's proud of.
Yeah. And, at the end of the day, it does reiterate and reaffirm that he is a gold medal contender right now. Because if he doesn't have this moment, he can be like, all right, am I always not going to be able to put it together when it matters? Like, he can know go into 2023. He's like, all right, I'm one of the guys. Like, I
Yeah,
can walk onto the track with that swag, knowing that, like, if I have a
yeah,
good day, I will be within 100 meters of gold.
yeah,
That didn't make sense. Not within 100 meters of gold, but like with 100 meters left in contention to win gold.
yeah. And Whiteman's dream of the triple is gone. I guess triple medal. Let's just extend that to him.
Triple
Triple.
medal?
We're changing the bar here. We're lowering it as it goes, but it'd still be cool. I mean,
Triple medal would be cool.
Hodgkinson, that race was crazy too. The women's 8 at Commonwealth. Mary Mora goes to the front, then goes to the back, then comes up again and gets past Hodgkinson. That was a wild race. And I don't know if that was her strategy. If it was, I love it. If that wasn't her strategy, I think I love it even more. Like she was out it was looked like she was pacing, and then she was only supposed to pace for 200 meters or something because then she slows down. It had to be obviously intentional slowdown because she's like, oh man, I've gone out way too fast. I immediately regret this decision. And then she drifts all the way back. And then the way the camera was positioned, they were doing the rail cam a lot. So like you didn't have the wide shot. You didn't see where she was. But the commentators are like, yeah, Mora's back there in last place. And you're thinking, all right, what's the expected result of someone who goes out in front in an 800 ahead by like a half a second and then goes to last? Usually they continue that trend and the gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Maybe they pass someone in the last 50 meters or something. She totally reversed that. And then she's like gaining on Keely Hodgkinson. And then she's passing Keely Hodgkinson. Yeah, that was just crazy. So Hodgkinson gets silver. I think that'd be I guess 3 silvers in a row now for her for these types of championship races. But Mary Mora, man, that women's 800, I'm so excited about the women's 800. Just with those 3, Mo, Hutchinson, and Mora, and the fact that we just don't know what Mora's ceiling is yet, and Keely like really wants to obviously get a gold because she's been denied now a couple times. That women's eight's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, you know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, not to. I've been doing this lately. Is we're talking about one topic, and then it just reminds me of something else, and it makes me just want to think about that even more. But like,
Before you switch topics, though,
imagine.
hold on. Before you switch topics, in the chat, um, someone said, "Oh, All in the Game says it wasn't her strategy. More adjusted mid race, confirmed this in her post race interview." And then Donovan says she wanted to go out in 58, but then realized she was going out way too fast. So, I mean, one of the all time great audibles, mid race audibles of all time. 800 goes by pretty quick. So to be able to adjust that quickly and to get it back on track, and I don't just have the confidence. It's like it's one thing to get back, drift back to the middle of the pack, but she was literally in last place and then just took off again with 200 to go. Anyway, that's my Mary Morris speech. Go ahead.
Okay. This is what I want to happen. I want Sydney McLaughlin to only run the 400 hurdles next year. I want Thing Mo to only run the 800 next year. I want them both to win gold in 2023. I want Sydney to have won 3 straight global golds. 2021, 2022, 2023. I want Thing Mo to win 3 straight global golds. 2021, 2022, 2023. And then I want both of them to be like, all right, who actually is the real talented one here? And they both scratch their primary event and they only go all in on the flat 400. And then we have a Thing Mo versus Sydney McLaughlin in the 400 only. So there's no backup plan. There's no like, this is my secondary event. We both are putting aside our 400 hurdles and our 800 to the side to match up one-on-one in Paris for a 400-meter Olympic title. So one of them
Or they
is
just
going
do it
to
next
end
year.
their
We just
streak.
do it next year. Why can't the streak be 2? Why does the streak
No,
need to be
I
3?
want 3. I want to be more of a build-up. I want there to be
No,
like
no, I don't. I mean,
that's what I want. I'm willing to be
Sydney would
patient here.
be Sydney would be the big favorite though, right? What's the argument against Sydney?
I don't know if Sydney would be the big favorite, bro.
I think she'd be. Don't call me bro. First of all, you're in your mid-30s.
Sir,
I don't. Thank you.
friend. I don't
For
play bro if I want. You're my bro. You're my bro. Come on.
Esquire.
We're podcast bros.
What would the line go off at? Sydney would be the favorite, right? Let's just start there. She has to be the favorite.
Is she?
Yes.
I think a Thing Mo going all out can run 48 low.
48
Maybe, okay, Sydney.
low? What? What are you talking about?
What am I
48
talking
low?
about? Yeah.
I mean,
You don't think a Thing Mo can run 48 seconds in a 400?
I mean, Miller Weibo's okay. 48 seconds is different than 48 low. You
Yeah.
realize that, right?
I think she'll run 48
What's
low.
for
What's my definition? I think she'll run like 48.4. I think a
Miller
Thing
Weibo's run
Mo.
48.36. Miller Weibo's run 48.36.
I think a Thing Mo can be better. She's 20 years old. She has yet to even touch her true potential. And she has put together some very impressive 4x4 splits as like a teenager. Like she can get there. She has never been pushed. And the same way I think Sydney can get there. She's just never been pushed. I don't think it's out of the question to think that.
You always throw these outrageous times out there, and then I try to bring you down to earth. But in doing so, it feels like I'm like talking down the athlete. But it's like, no, I don't think she's going to run 48.2. But I still think she's great. She's amazing. I just think that that's an awful lot to ask.
I'm telling you, bro. I did it again. I called you bro.
I think Sydney. I'll just say this. I think Sydney, after what has happened this year, I think Sydney would be the favorite, and I would expect Sydney to win.
Okay,
now,
but if a Thing Mo next year runs like 154 multiple times,
right? If
you're not going to
things
think
happen,
like the
if
22-year-old
things
Thing
happen,
Mo in 2024 will not be a legitimate challenger to Sydney McLaughlin in the 400.
I know, but you just entered new information. It's like if stuff changes that will change this argument. Do you think you'll change your argument? Yeah, of course I would. I'm saying right now, who would go off as a favorite? It'd be McLaughlin.
Here's a question. In events that are 800 meters or shorter, when's the last time a Thing Mo's lost a race? Who actually has lost a race more recently? I guess a Thing in 2021 indoors. Yeah, I predicted that loss for the record. That was a good prediction.
You did. That's one of the last few things you got right.
I don't know, man. Look at like she was running like 49s consistently, 49.5 in 2021.
Yeah, there's just a long way from 49.5 to 48 low. It's like there's a sort of limit here. Like you run up against potential and talent, right? That's why there's not a whole bunch of people who've run sub. I mean, I'm with you on sub 49 for both of them, for sure. But again, I just think Sydney coming at it more from the shorter distance stuff, I think
But
lends
take
well.
away
They
my ignorance or arrogance or whatever for saying the word 48 low. It would be pretty cool if they both go on to win next year. They're both 3 for 3 in their primary event, and then they both are like, "We are done with this. We are meeting now in the middle," and then they race each other, and it'd be a lot of entertainment value around that because it's like, all right, we're seeing the greatest 400-meter hurdler go up against the current era's best 800-meter runner, and they're meeting. You know, it's like the who raced each other? Michael Johnson versus who when they ran the 150
Donovan Bailey, that was a
and
classic.
Donovan Baird,
We
and
all,
when Johnson faked an
yeah.
injury because he did that, but he'll never admit it.
I, but I don't care. Like, I don't know. I'd want. I don't need the third race between Mo. I don't need them to win for a third
Well,
time.
what I
I think
need
it's
is I need a thing
delaying
Mo
the
to
inevitable.
like have another season of like because a thing Mo we thought she'd be running faster than what she's running now. She's still winning, so she's still maintaining that eliteness. But I want one more year of a thing Mo kind of like developing an even greater resume, so that matchup has more weight to it. Because I feel like that matchup next year won't have the same weight as that matchup being in 2020. I need a thing Mo to get a little bit more star power.
Well, but they're just totally. They're both winning gold medals, but they're in different spots in their events completely.
That's why I needed the thing Mo to go out and run 154s, maybe flirt with the 153, and then he'd be like, okay, this is
Well,
kind
I
of
know,
like
but
what Sydney's doing with her 51-second stuff. And then boom, together.
no, you need her to break the world record, and you need there to be no reason for her to continue with the event because she's the undisputed greatest 800-meter runner of all time, which is where Sydney's at. That's what you'd need, but I don't think that's going to happen over the course of a year. If you ask me which one are we more likely to see in a 400, just in general, it's her by a long shot. It's Sydney McLaughlin by a long shot. In part, if you're trying to win a gold medal, why would you go into an event where Sydney McLaughlin is running it? Why would you choose the
Because
harder path?
they all think they're great. I don't know. I just feel like, come on, man. This would be fun. It would be fun to see.
It would be fun. I'm just saying they're not. They're on different. I think they're on different schedules completely. And I think, but if we're going to have it happen right away,
All right. Yeah, Kevin, just like you're shitting on this idea, your internet is shitting on you talking right now. So we might have to end the podcast because you're frozen on me. I think that was your internet giving justice towards you hating on a thing Mo versus Sydney 400-meter final in Paris to just, I mean, that would be cool. I'm not looking at the chat, but I'm sure the chat would love a Mo versus McLaughlin.
I think this means you win the argument, right? Like
I think
since
it
Kevin
is.
dropped
I think
out,
I won the
I think you
argument because I'm the
won,
last
yeah.
one standing. That's how it works, right? All right. I'm going to end the podcast. If we missed anything, we'll talk about it again on Wednesday. Tomorrow, Wednesday's podcast, it's going to be in the afternoon. We're going to go live right after Monaco. We didn't really preview any of the events because we have so much going on. But those previews will be old in 48 hours anyway. So we'll rapid react to Monaco Wednesday afternoon. Then we'll be back to our regular scheduled programming for the Friday morning podcast. But yeah, we'll see you guys all in 48 hours. Thanks for listening on this weird afternoon type special. Track. It's fun. We appreciate you guys listening, and we'll see you guys